Welcome to Superstitions and Traditions. I'm Kristen.
I'm Trish.
I'm Clarissa.
These are my nieces.
Ellie.
All right. All right, and today is Superstitions. We're going to talk about piercings. Piercings have a varied history. They have existed since the beginning of time. Earliest evidence comes from the Mesopotamia. The Sumerians and the Babylonians adored their ears and nose with piercings as a way to honor their deities.
Oh.
They were usually made of silver, gold, or gemstones, and they kind of meant different things based on what they were and which deity they were honoring with the jewelry. Egyptians also used piercings. And they used them to show like social status. They used them to honor deities as well.
Were they mainly ears?
Yes, ears and nose for the Egyptians.
Okay.
However, it was used as like a status symbol based on where it was symbolized your ranking in society.
I can only imagine where a low one would be.
The lowest was the navel, as far as like physicality on the body.
Uh-huh.
And that was reserved for pharaohs. So it was like a bigger deal.
So the belly button was a big deal.
Yes.
And the ears were like,
yeah,
maybe?
Kinda.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But they used various stones and metals as well. They also had certain ones that brought good fortune or protection. So
I might need some of those.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so they used theirs for lots of different things. Honor their deities, a social symbol, or, where your ranking was within society. And for superstitious reasons. Romans used theirs as a status symbol. Beyond the ears and nose, the Romans also pierced their navel, their nipples, and their genitals.
Their what? Their
genitals.
what? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, they did, the Jacob's ladder or whatever.
Okay.
Are you going to tell me what the Jacob's ladder is, or I'm just going to have to kind of know and just be okay with kind of knowing?
Based on where the piercings was a signified levels of wealth and power.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know for sure what it symbolized, but I'm going to assume you had some major power if you had that pierced.
Okay.
And some kahunas.
And some kahunas if you had that pierced.
Gotcha.
And theirs were silver, gold, and bronze. They also, gladiators had their septums pierced.
Hey.
Just like you. It signified their strength. Mm-hmm. So yours is small today. You are stronger than we are based on that. But compared to the other gladiators, your strength is probably minimal.
So the bigger, if you had
they didn't do the real big like the Ethiopians but yes.
I had to have a drink of water after all that. I'm not sure why. I just needed one.
I understand. A lot of African tribes have long use piercings for various reasons. And, there are hundreds of African tribes, kind of like our Native American tribes. So they all symbolize different things. Anyway, with each tribe, it symbolized something different. But theirs were primarily facial piercings, lip and tongue.
Ooh.
And the labrae.
Oh, yes.
That started with native tribes in Africa and also Central and South America. They were markings for milestones and transitions within life. They were kind of like rites of passage or symbolized coming into puberty or becoming an adult and things like that. In a lot of tribes, every tribe was different, so they symbolized other things as well. They had their own standard. Each tribe had their own standard, but typically, primarily, they were to mark transitions in life or milestones. And they also used them to denote their tribe
Okay.
You could tell, kind of like the braids, the cornrows, you could tell which tribe they were from based on what was pierced and what the piercings looked like.
Okay, gotcha.
And the jewels they used in the piercings. And it also denoted status within the tribe. In addition to piercings, they also did the gauging and the stretching.
Oh, I don't know if I could do stretching.
You think you could ever do one of those?
Nope.
No. It was practiced in several ancient African tribes. The Fulanis and the Dayak tribes used stretched earlobes as a connection to the spirit world.
Uh-huh.
The larger the stretch, the deeper the connection.
Interesting.
And it was viewed as it symbolized your own personal discipline. So it was like
So if you could sit there long enough and be disciplined enough to get that stretch,
yeah,
then
get
your
it
connection
gauged.
to the spirit world.
Yes. And it spoke well of you. Like
Okay.
it was symbolic of your
Strength,
character
connection,
and your discipline, your strength, your character as well as the benefit for you is the connection, deeper connection, but it showed the world that you were of good character.
Oh, gotcha.
Ethiopians used lip stretching as a rite of passage. And the size of the plate in the lips, we've all seen those
Yes.
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. The size of the lip plate indicated social status. They also used it to determine the dowry her husband would pay to marry her. So the bigger the lip plates, the more money mommy and daddy got.
Oh.
Because they did it backwards. Instead of mommy and daddy paying somebody to marry you, they paid mommy and daddy to marry you.
As it should be.
So-
As it should be.
So the dowries in the Ethiopian tribes were backwards from like the Europeans. But the bigger the plate, the more money you got from mommy and daddy when your husband was ready to marry you.
Which was good for mom and daddy, but could be a rough start for you
It
all.
could be.
I mean, it could.
It could be a rough start for you if he had to use all his money to pay to marry you. You ain't gonna have nothing. Native American tribes, and though again each tribe was different and unique in their own piercings, but theirs was for protection often and aid from ancestors or animal spirits. Septum piercings was popular with the Native American tribes, and not just in North America, but also South and Central America.
Right.
Okay.
Like the Mayans and the Aztecs, and but they often for their septum piercings used bone.
Ooh.
So I don't know about it.
So you just push it through.
Honestly, in my experience, the septum was 10 times easier than the actual nose piercing.
Was it?
This
Yeah.
part right here hurt more than.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Really?
Absolutely. I don't know why. I'm assuming it has to be skin because this
Yeah.
is more like cartilage.
Cartilage
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
See, I had my nose pierced for a long time, and it fell out one day while I was sleeping, and by the time I woke up, it had already grown in. So I have to have it re-pierced. I just haven't done it yet. But the septum, primarily, with most tribes, Aztec, Native North, Central, and South American tribes, was important for hunters. And they used bone. Usually for the hunters, they used the bone of the animal they were hunting.
Ooh.
So if they were going to go hunt buffalo, they would stick a buffalo bone through their septum
So
to
they
help
take it out,
call
change.
the spirit
Right.
of, and use the spirit of the buffalo to aid, and it helped them hunt better.
Okay.
Brought the animals to them so they didn't have to go hunt them down.
Okay.
Or, if they were hunting hogs, they would use a hog bone.
The elk bone.
Yeah. Yeah. So, they also did labret piercings, which is this one right here. Where they just right
We don't
below
have any
the
of
lip.
those, do we?
No.
No, ma'am.
No, they look. I like them. I'm just worried about my teeth.
Oh yeah, I feel like it would have.
Like they would get hung up in there, or it would
Or it
really
would damage them.
Oh, because it would scrape when you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know
I just
either.
had my ears pierced. That's it, and that was a big step for me.
I have
50
4
years ago.
holes in
40
my ears.
You know.
I've had my nose pierced. I want a dermal, but that's a whole different thing. And
Is that where they do it right here?
yeah, well, they do it under the skin, and it's like a magnet or a bolt that sticks out, and you screw it on, but I want it right here.
Huh. So do you just have one ear?
I have
that one
3
has-
piercings. I pierced. Don't do this, but I pierced my own ears in high school, and so.
Did
But
you-
the first ones your Aunt Patty got for me at Walmart.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, is that back when you were little, or was that?
I was 4 years old for my 4th birthday. I still remember that.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
And the others you did on your own. Did you use the potato, or did you just stick a needle in the ice?
No. I used those diaper clips? That's what they had. So I just shoved it in there. It was painful.
Again,
and then
don't do
shoved
this
in-
at home.
Yeah, don't.
Okay.
And then put an earring in there at some point. So.
Listen, when I got my nose pierced, I let Lexi do it first. She did it with a needle.
You let Lexi.
Yeah, I let Lexi pierce.
How old were you?
It was, I don't know, 2 years ago, probably.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of when she was 4 or 5.
Yeah, no, she was a teen.
Okay. Did you hear voices?
I'm hearing voices.
Oh, wait, a voice from the past.
It was not 2 years ago, baby girl, because I did yours you did mine like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but you did. So I let Lexi first with a needle, and she got it all the way through, but as soon as she would pull it up and try to get a needle or get an earring in it, it would close up before. So it was horrendous, and after about 30 minutes of excruciating pain, I'm like, never mind. I'm done with it. So then I ordered a little kit. Central and South America, the libres were more common than in Northern American native tribes. And they did that to enhance their beauty. It was solely cosmetic.
Yeah, a lot of this was...
But it was to enhance their beauty and increase their sexuality.
Hey.
So I had no idea that's what a libre did, but apparently...
We all may be running out.
I know. Let's go get it.
Maybe that needs to be our family piercing.
So I'm wondering, did they take it out? If they took it out and were like, was that the ancient native way of saying, not tonight, babe, I've got a headache?
Oh, maybe like if you didn't have
love
one
that.
in, it's like probably step away.
We're doing. I got a headache tonight. We're just sleeping. See, it's gone.
It's gone. See, that's good. You don't even have to bother asking. I think
I know,
clarity
you just
is important.
looked.
Yes, we all need just.
Right,
Nothing personal, just not tonight.
Gotta go. I gotta go home early tonight, guys. She had her libre in.
Yes. That's right. Let's end this hunt quick. I have things to do.
I got things to do. Healers and shamans would pierce their tongue.
Okay, to me, see, that one's one I just, because I don't know if I could ever just stop playing with it. If
I would accidentally probably rip mine out.
I'd be playing. Okay.
And I know people who have, and they do all the time. All you hear is little clicks because they're messing with hitting their teeth with it. But again, I worry about my teeth. I don't know why I'm so worried about my teeth, because I know you can buy new ones if you lose the ones you came with.
But they're not always comfortable and easy to fit.
I am partial.
Your grandpa's good. You know how he...
Turn around.
I feel like I'm really attached to the ones I have, and
I think it's because you watched your grandpa Daryl whittle at his with a knife and dentures, and you're like, oh no, I'm not going there.
Or I don't remember where, but I'm going to assume, because libre piercings were common in several Native American tribes, but they did find evidence of several mummies where you could tell the lower teeth were damaged from libre piercings.
Oh, really? Because I know that now the Iceman, what was his name?
Started with an O.
Otzi.
Yeah.
Otzi. They found that he had been pierced, right? And his little mummified remains. He had ear piercings, I think, or stretched ear piercings.
Had several.
I don't know if he had gauges and stuff.
Yeah, he had several piercings that they found. I don't think he had a labret piercing though. They found him in Austria, so somewhere in there.
When we look at piercings back from this time, I mean, it was a very respectful.
Yes.
I mean, it was, something that showed your status, or it helped you in battle, it helped you.
They served
whatever,
a purpose. Yeah, it wasn't just to look pretty.
Right, it wasn't just to look pretty. And then, how did we transition to... Remember back when, I'm young, if a guy got anything pierced, that was just one of those things. And then so we went from this, like tattoos, and now we're coming back to realize that all of that taboo that was associated with all of this, we all kind of know where it came from, and we'll talk about it a little bit as we go. Yeah. But that piercings and tattoos
body
and body modifications are not evil.
No, and they've been around forever, since people have been around.
Right.
They have been around. Like even the ancient Asians, they use nose, ears, and occasionally lip to denote social status and as coming of age rituals. And shamans, the healers and the shamans would pierce their tongue. So there's a lot of blood in tongue piercings.
Oh gosh, yes,
they bleed a lot.
Bleeds, yes.
And it was all this ritual and required bloodletting in some tribes to be a shaman. Once you reached whatever they
category
had, whatever rituals you had to do to get to that point. That was one of the final steps, was bloodletting and piercing the tongue, which let a lot of blood. But it helped your communication with the spirits and heightened your communication with your ancient ancestors.
Did you read anything about body suspensions? Because they just fascinate me. So there were several tribes. Oh yeah, and they would actually like pierce the body and then hang themselves. And that, I think it was the. I know there was a ceremony, the Okipa, which was performed by the Mandan tribes, and there was a period of fasting and everything that went through it. It was a very sacred ritual that only, those youth, and it was usually with youth that they were going to consider to be warriors or hunters or high in the tribe, that they would go through that.
Yeah, that sounds painful.
Oh, I know, it just sounded...
Not to mention, reaching that status within your tribe sounded like a lot of work, too.
Yes.
I'm just not about any of it. I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to have to work for an entire tribe of people.
No, I don't either. And
they're going to come to me with their problems. I'm really not going to care about it, and I'm going to have to pretend. I don't want it.
Right.
I'm going to let somebody else do all that.
I mean, I'm an elder now because I'm
an elder.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
But the great thing about being an elder is that we can just passively pass our wisdom on now. We just kind of chill and hang out. We have to...
Now, so then we are progressing through time and life. And
have we made it to Deuteronomy yet?
Actually, Deuteronomy was part of the start of the whole thing. And it was mentioned quite a bit in Deuteronomy, Leviticus, the Old Testament Bible. Even whenever Aaron made the golden calf, when Moses had gone to get the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai.
I think so, yeah.
What he used to make the golden calf was he melted earrings.
That's a lot of earrings to make the golden calf.
Oh, wow.
But in Deuteronomy, they used pierced ears for slaves. So if it was a slave or someone that you own, then you pierced their ears so that...
Yeah, and again, right, it's a status symbol.
A status symbol.
Social.
That's right.
Yes.
And that was okay. But then there are also parts in the Bible where it talks about
not mutilating your body.
And there's in Genesis where Rebecca received a nose ring from. So we know that piercings and all of that was...
Yes.
And then somehow we went horribly awry.
And I'm going to tell you exactly where and when we went horribly awry.
I'm ready.
So Nordic cultures, it wasn't like white Europeans. So, and when we talk about Nordic, it's like Scandinavian, Norse mythology, that kind of. And so they were up in Finland, Denmark, that area. They spread. There is influence of Nordic belief in Celtic regions, which is like northern parts of France, Wales, Ireland, Scotland, those places, they didn't start out with piercings, but with the Viking exploration, when they did migrate to all these other places, they saw these. So then they started doing it too, and then they started ascribing specifics to where and what you used. They used a lot of symbols from Norse mythology for their piercings. And theirs was primarily for adornment, just to look cool. You know, like teenagers now. And the same with the Celts. So the white Europeans didn't necessarily start with piercings, but they saw the other cultures during their explorations and were like, oh, I like it. So they did it for pretty. In the 13th century, the Roman Catholic Church denounced all piercings, including ears.
I love the Catholic Church.
All of it. So the Roman Catholic Church, we know at this time, was kind of the law of the land for a lot of, especially Europeans.
Right.
And we know, the Europeans, they really kind of bowed down to the Catholic Church for a long time, and then they started wanting to kind of do their own thing and kind of broke away from the Catholic Church. So when we talk about the Catholic Church and their silly rules and trying to take over the world and all of that, it is not the Catholic Church that is today. It was the original Roman Catholic. I have these great ideas and I'm taking over the world. And so a lot of the things that they said way back when is no longer. Catholics right now, because I even looked it up, they have no problem with piercings.
No, I'm Episcopalian. We're like,
you
Catholic light. And
yeah. So it is no longer denounced within the Catholic Church, but there was a time when, in the 13th century, the Roman Catholic Church denounced all piercings. It was a pagan ritual. It was bad. Don't do it. So for a minute, we didn't. The only people who did were of lower social class or criminals.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like tattoos back in the day.
Like tattoos back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Don't bring in the gays. We got us all covered here.
Yes.
During the Renaissance.
Something to be said for a deviant lifestyle. I had to keep going. I'm sorry. It's on Golden Pond. It's a good movie.
During the Renaissance, which started around the 1400s, so 15th century, we are wanting to loosen the grip of the Roman Catholic authority.
Okay.
So during the Renaissance era, which is kind of ushered us from the Middle Ages into more modern times, they started using piercings and tattoo and body modification as a form of rebellion. Mm-hmm. So they kind of embraced it and brought it back just as a middle finger to the Roman Catholic authority.
Hey, look at us.
It's also during this time that when we think of pirate, like the stereotypical cartoon pirate, they always have the one ear pierced.
Yes, the little peg leg and punch.
So that one little gold hoop they have in their ear, that's when this started. Oh. So that's when sailors started piercing one ear with a gold hoop. We don't know exactly why they did it, but there are lots of different theories about why. One was superstition, was that the gold earring would prevent the ship from sinking. It had some kind of power, like it's going to keep the ship from sinking, or having one ear pierced will increase the distance you can see, so you can see like storms ahead, or things like that. It also had practical application in that the gold, because they were real gold, the gold could be used to pay for your burial. See, should you die away from home
I like that.
So it was like an insurance.
That's right. Yeah.
It was like an insurance policy. This way, I get a proper burial.
Unless someone stole it.
Unless someone stole it.
Those pirates that would
steal their gold earring. And it also had like a symbolic application in that they think would denote how many miles a sailor had sailed, or if they had crossed the equator, or if they had circled the earth, or if they had sailed around the tip of Africa. So they aren't real sure why sailors started piercing one ear. There are lots of different theories.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, just think of the mystery of all that time, because, we know so much. We have so much knowledge at our fingertips every day. But when you go back way, that they didn't.
Right, they were getting on a boat and they weren't even entirely sure the earth was round.
That's right. So if I'm sailing off to sea and somebody goes, here, put this earring in.
Right.
You're going to see further, you're going to be fine. I'm like,
you're going to see further, you're going to be fine, and I promise some woman is going to give you a proper burial if you die in her country.
I'm going to give it my best shot with it, because you just don't know.
You don't.
Yeah.
And then you have that one person that makes it, and they're like, he had an earring. Did he have an earring?
Right.
So then you have that, okay. So, I mean,
and then there's also I earned this earring because I crossed the equator. And other people are like, what the hell's an equator? Was that mean you fell off? Or
what's happening out there? I mean, you just think about it, and the whole process of it is what's just fascinating, because there was just a lot of thought and problem solving and all of that went into it. It wasn't just like,
Hey,
I think,
I think I want this. Like we have now. So it kind of, even with the Renaissance and it being a form of rebellion, it kind of was a taboo thing for a long time. And it wasn't until after World War II that it gained visible, and I say visible because there were a lot during the Victorian era that nipple piercings were apparently popular.
Ellie,
But it's not discussed often, because when you think of Victorians, you think the prim and proper.
Was cocaine popular during that time? Things were
laudanum.
Which we just didn't know. Yeah.
They made poor choices and were horribly obsessed with death. So they don't talk much about their nipple rings, but they did that in the Victorian era. World War II, ear piercings gained popularity after that, and then we have the 70s through the 90s where the teenage of the modern era.
The age of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius.
Yes, where we're, middle finger up to authority in general and piercing all sorts of things.
As a part of that group, yes.
So.
Of course, I didn't pierce, but I did
You
middle
did
finger
other
up. I just did it in different ways.
Yes.
But not in.
Hey.
And I'm not anti-piercing. I've just always had
it's
that fear of needles. And I hate to say that on
I have a strong
on
aversion
podcast.
to pain. Especially self-induced, voluntary pain. I don't want that.
Right. I mean,
I'm never going to choose that. Anyway, I have exhausted my knowledge of piercings.
Well, I think you've exhausted mine too, because I don't have anything extra to add. Just that, and it's when you look at the different cultures and you look at how I always think about how the Europeans came over, and the whole mission was to save the Native Americans, and I know that when they looked at it, they must have thought, oh, well, look at them running around like that and with all these piercings.
Why do they have bones sticking out of their nose?
But they don't realize that those traditions, what that meant to our culture and what the traditions mean. And even, as the Cherokees, the Cherokees loved copper, made copper, and the ornaments and stuff that they used, because they did use some for decoration, but primarily it was because it was a symbol of something.
It was a symbol of something, or brought them. And, we all have good luck charms now.
Right.
So, theirs were a little more serious as far as good luck charms go, but that's basically what it was.
Yeah, and then you look at it from the biblical perspective, and I think that you can take. It's when you look at the Bible, and you can see in certain verses like, oh, okay, yeah, it definitely says in there, don't.
It does. It doesn't say
don't pierce. You're right,
and it doesn't say it's bad.
Right.
It says you are this, so you're not going to.
Right.
But it doesn't say we're going to look down on them, because they do.
Right.
It was a way, just like we talked about, it was a way of defining who they were and symbolizing.
Right. And if you just read that verse and you don't read the context of the verse, or you don't read the information before the verse or the information after the verse or all the contextual stuff that went with the verse, you don't understand the significance of everything that went on.
Right.
It's like,
it's not a part of our culture.
right. And
And that's essentially what it is. It's not a part of our culture, it is their
the
culture.
Right. And when you read Corinthians, it says basically that our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, and we're to keep them holy and with respect. But so some people take that and say, hey, if keeping
I
it
feel
holy
like
and
the
respect,
Holy Spirit loves the decorations I have put on
uh-huh.
this temple for him.
And if Rebecca got a nose ring, and it was good enough for Rebecca, piercings, I mean, I love them and I'm for them. They fascinate me.
Oh, I'm definitely not for them,
I like gauges because from a teacher perspective, if I have my ear gauge, I always have a little place to put my pen.
That's true.
I feel like, I've always thought they were neat. I'm not going to lie to you.
Or if we golfed.
There you go.
Hold your tea there. If you got it big enough, you could hold your club.
I only use 2 clubs.
So you're good.
One in each ear.
You wouldn't need that little bag. You wouldn't have to have a caddy.
No. You just need your 4
There you
iron.
go.
Maybe a 7 and a putter. You're good.
All right. So that is what we know about piercings. Let us know your thoughts about piercings. Take the labret out if you don't even have to say nothing. You got a headache.
Just make it easy
It's
for everyone.
automatic,
Use it as a way to communicate.
That was.
Here, let me help you.
I don't know why I giggled so hard when I read that. Like a sign of their sexuality.
I would have a hard time now remembering if does it out that means I'm okay or
Well, it was a sign of their sexuality.
So if it's
I'm
in,
thinking if it's in,
that
we're
means
in the mood.
okay, and if not,
And if we're not, we are not feeling pretty. We've got a headache. Leave us alone.
and Peppa Pig.
And Peppa Pig. I don't know how she feels about piercings. Maybe she'll let us know. She won't.
She doesn't.
Okay.
She's going to keep that to herself.
That's
Some things are
her own
personal.
business.
Yes.
So, all right. Let us know what you think. Be sure to like and subscribe and tell your friends and come back and see us. And have a good day.
Yes. Thank you guys much. Be kind and have a great day.